What's up, you guys? So in this tutorial or this video, I'm going to show you how I take those tech stack skills that we need to show confidence in, and how you can go and learn them on the fly. So we're going to start off with Apache Airflow, and just usually, so tech is changing all the time, so it's good to use the official documentation because that is constantly updated as the tech changes too. So we can just go straight to the tutorial. And so today we're just going to walk through this tutorial and see how we can do this. Okay. So we're gonna make a pipeline. What I think of when I hear pipeline is grab the data, clean the data, do some analysis on the data, store the data, and call the data for some purpose. So just the whole workflow that the data flows through. Okay. Okay, so it looks like they've got some well-commented code. That's nice. So I'm learning this for the first time, so you guys get to see how I'm going to struggle with this. I don't think I'm going to get this for the first time, but this is programming. This is how we get through it. So DAG is a graph. DAG, let's see. Directed acyclic graph, which directed means going from, we've got A and B, we have a an arrow pointing from A to B, not from B to A. So that's what directed means. Acyclic means that it's not creating a circle. So a circle would be A points to B and B points to A. That would be a cycle, graph cycle. A cycle in a graph is a non-empty trail in which the only repeated vertices are the first and last. HAB. B, D, E, F, D, C, B. Okay. So a cycle is when the start and end point are the same vertex. So H, A, B, D, H would be a cycle because it starts and ends at H. Okay. Lots of Googling. Don't be afraid of that. So we're not going to be doing any processing in the DAG definition file. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and follow along and make this. So just copy and paste. Okay. Make this a little bit easier to paste. So we got a default arguments dictionary. Paste that guy. Okay. These args will get passed on to each operator. You can override them on a per task basis during operator initializing. Okay. Make that easier for you guys to see. Okay. For more information, okay, so we're going to make a DAG. Copy and paste that guy. Call it tutorial. Default args is this default args we have there. Okay, so default args. Okay, so it looks like in this case we're going to be running this every single day. Okay. So tasks are things to do, like go grab those tweets from Balaji's Twitter account. So we're using this bash operator command. And so that's gonna use the sleep command and the print date command. Interesting. Or sorry, the sleep 5 and date. Let's just get an example. Let's do date. Okay, so if you type date, it just spits out the date and time. So this is bash operator is an example of a class, which is part of object-oriented programming, and we're instantiating a bash operator class with these different variables. Okay, so we're learning how to use templates. So I'm gonna copy that. So basically what a template does is everywhere, so this does a normal for loop in Python, and everything in these double curly brackets gets evaluated. So that's what's happening here, and eventually we'll come to an example. Okay. Looks like we're using it here. Templated command. Okay, so the question is, how does my param get put in here? So when this is bash, when this gets executed, it's gonna pull params.myparam. So here's params.myparam is equal to this string right here, parameter I passed in. So what happens when we do that? Echo parameter that I passed in. It's gonna print that to the console. And if you don't like using this string template, you can just write it in a file and pass it. So the question pops up for me is, when would you use user-defined macros to pass this foobar variable? Why wouldn't you put foobar within params? That's a question I have. And maybe we'd figure that out if we check this out, but we're going to stick with this just basic tutorial today. Cool, so we can add in, looks like we can add in documentation. Interesting. So we're just going to keep on pasting, just doing what they tell us. Okay. So we have tasks T1, T2, T3. Let's take a look at that. Look for T1. Okay. T2. Okay. And T3. So So we've got 3 tasks. Cool. So you can set up dependencies. So say like I wanted to do task 2 only when task 1 is finished. It looks like my thinking is that's what we're going to learn right here. How do we set it up so that one is executing after another? Okay, so it looks like T1 set downstream means fire T1, and then only if T1 finishes, fire T2. Okay, so this is the bit shift operator is just like the 2 less than or greater than signs. It's just a different way of saying set downstream. And that just makes it easy to chain them together like this. Okay, so all 3 of these are equivalent. So we saw that a cycle happens if we have like a if this went T1, T2, T3, T1, that would be a cycle. So it looks like Airflow will raise an exception if we get that. T3. Okay, so it looks like we're not using that. We're just going to do, I'm going to add this guy. Let's add a little comment. T2 and T3 wait for T1 to finish. Let's check and see what that means. So a list of tasks can also be set as dependencies. These operations are all have the same effect. So it's saying T2 and T3 depend on T1. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Stick this guy after T2. The documentation. All right. Simply command T3, and then T2 and T3 depend on T1. All right, it looks like we have everything there. So now we want to run some tests. Okay, so I don't think this is going to work because I haven't set up airflow.cfg. So it looks like we're going to do that next, but let's just show you what happens here. So Python 3 tutorial, and so this isn't going to work, but let's see what happens. Okay. No module named Airflow. Okay. So now let's get this set up. Looks like we have to go back to the quick start and do that. So this is what happens, guys. We gotta adapt as we get started, and then we see, oh, we don't have this thing. Actually, we don't have Airflow installed. Actually, we don't have Airflow.cfg. So it's okay. We figure out how to get that done, and then we'll come back and continue and get this to run successfully. So let's go back to the quick start. Okay, so let's go ahead and follow these instructions here. Pip install Apache Airflow. Pip sudo apt install pip. Okay. Ubuntu install pip. And if you're on Windows, you would do like Windows install pip. Okay. Sudo apt update. And sudo apt install Python pip. Oh. So the and operator, it does the first one, and if the first one is successful, it executes the second one. That's what this and operator is doing. Oh, there we go. Okay, so pip3 install Apache Airflow. Looks like we already had it. We were just using okay, Apache Airflow. Alright, guys, we're making progress. Got a little sidetracked there, but that happens in coding, and you just have to adapt. This is it, guys. We're getting a real, we're not a polished video of like running it through once and everything just works perfectly. That's not how coding works. Like, you get errors and you have to troubleshoot and figure out how to fix them. So you're getting the real deal in this tutorial. Isn't that cool? Just watching that flow through. It's like I'm watching The Matrix. I don't know if you guys like that movie. It's pretty cool. And the cool part about freelancing, I'm in Mexico right now. So I'm going to be working for someone in Austin, Texas. So how cool is that? Like, why wouldn't you want to be a freelance developer? You can go to Colombia, you can go to Mexico, you can go to Asia, and meanwhile you're earning dollars and spending pesos or Thai baht, and so you're arbitraging that, like the expensive US dollar. That's another benefit of being a freelance developer. All right, guys, we made it through that step. We're going to do Airflow initdb. Whoa, we get a lot of stuff spit out there. Cool. Start a web server, it looks like. All right, we've got a server. Question is, no. What's going on here? Pending deprecation warning. Okay. Okay. Airflow scheduler. Airflow server, just keeping track of what's going on in each one of these windows. Okay, so we're going to run Airflow scheduler. Okay. Okay, so let's visit localhost 8080. Hopefully this works. All right, guys. So sometimes it does work the first time. All right. Cool. How about that? There it is, guys. We got Airflow running. Enable the example DAG in the home screen. Okay, how do we do that? Trigger DAG, tree view, graph view, task duration, task tries, landing tries, Gantt view, code view, logs, refresh, delete. Okay, so here's the spot where the documentation isn't super clear. What does it mean to enable the example DAG in the home page? Okay, how do we enable? What does this do? Let's see. We're just going to test it out, see what happens. Is paused, so, okay. Pickle ID. Okay, let's go back. Huh. Interesting. What is that? It's interesting. Graph, tree. So tree. Okay. Interesting. Print the context, sleep for 0, sleep for 2, okay, interesting. So I'm not seeing how to enable this. Oh, maybe. Oh, that's probably, okay. So now this is enabled, I'm assuming? Okay. I assume that's what happened. Enable the example in the home page. Okay. So I think that's what I did there, hopefully. And let's example Python operator. So let's remember that. Example bash operator. Okay. Example Python operator. Okay, so yeah, it looks like we turned that one on. Well, let's turn that one off. So does it want us to do enable the example DAG? Example DAG. Okay, I'm searching for DAG. Oh, we're just going to do the first one. Example bash operator. Alright. Upon running these commands, Airflow will create the Airflow home folder and lay an airflow.cfg file with defaults that get you going fast. You can inspect the file either in airflow.cfg. Okay, let's take a look at that CFG file, because that's what we need. We need the .cfg file for here. This is where we last left off on the tutorial. So let's just check and see that that was made. All right. Okay. Let's do less airflow. Airflow.cfg. Okay, so here we go. So that made what we needed. Nice. Cool. All right, now we got what we needed there. That's cool. Admin configuration menu. Okay. Admin configuration. Where would that be? Browse. Okay, admin configuration. Okay. Okay, so that's like a sudo issue, something like that, but that's okay. We can't see it in the browser, but we can look at it in the terminal. So same difference, just a different view. Okay. Go back. All right. So we've got. Okay. Let's assume we're saving the code from the previous file to .py in the DAGs folder referenced in your airflow.cfg. The default location is airflow DAGs. Is that there? Okay. Let's do tree airflow DAGs. Airflow logs. Okay, so it makes us wanna, so it wants us to make this folder DAGs within Airflow and put tutorial within it. Okay, so let's do that. So make dir Airflow DAGs, and we're gonna copy that tutorial file we made. So how to, and so find out where that location is. Yeah, we're gonna copy that from there, and we're gonna put it in Airflow DAGs. Tutorial. So less Airflow DAGs tutorial. Okay, there we go. So now we've put it where it's expecting it here. So let's try and which Python. Okay, let's run that. Let's see what happens. Python Airflow DAGs tutorial. Okay, nothing happened. Interesting. Hey. Alright guys, we're figuring it out. See how to get this working. Okay. What is this? Okay, so the script does not raise an exception, so we did not get an exception here. It means that you haven't done anything horribly wrong and that your Airflow environment is somewhat sound. That's reassuring. Okay. Let's run a few commands to validate the script further. Airflow list DAGs. Airflow list DAGs. Whoa. Okay. What happened there? Oh, okay. right, and there's our tutorial down there in the bottom. Print the list of tasks, the tutorial DAG ID. Okay, using executor sequential. Let's take a look at this. Oh, okay. So we're running we turned this one on before. Let's turn that one off. Off. Click. Nope. Okay. There we go. So let's turn tutorial on. Well, we don't need to yet. Okay. Filling up the DAG bag. That's funny. Templated. What is templated? Vim, Airflow, DAGs, tutorial, templated. Okay, so that's our third. Our third task was called templated. So that's loaded up successfully, it looks like. Okay. So we see we have 3 commands here: print date, sleep, and templated. Cool. Alright, so we're gonna keep going. I guess for now, yeah, we'll stop with the quick start. We'll just keep going through the tutorial. Okay. Print the hierarchy of tasks in the tutorial DAG. Okay. Let's do it. Okay. Task bash operator, print date, templated, and then sleep. So that shows that this is only going to execute these 2 after print date has finished. And that's a result of this right here. We told it the sequence we want everything to execute in. Okay. Let's test by running the actual task instances for a specific date. The date specified in this context is called execution date. This is the logical date, which simulates the scheduler running your task or DAG at a specific date and time, even though it physically will run now, or as soon as its dependencies are met. Okay. Command, subcommand, DAG ID, task ID, date. Testing print date. Okay, let's test. Whoa. Okay, so start date, and this is in epic time, and end date. Okay, interesting. Cool, okay. Airflow test. We're going to test sleep. Okay. Alright, so you see how that would, let's do the first one again. Print date. And that kind of just finished right away, and then the sleep one, it slept for a little bit. So it stops, and then it runs. Okay, cool. Now remember what we did with templating earlier. See how this template gets rendered and executed by running this command. Okay. I'm going to run templated. All right. Let's take a look. Cool. There you go, guys. We're setting up those cron jobs in Apache Airflow. Okay, so let's kill that. Kill the server. We're going to kill the scheduler. Okay. So we can follow along with these instructions here. So reading everything, it's a little bit boring, but when you get things running and you're actually getting your computer to do things that you tell it to do, that's a really fun thing. Okay, so we're going to start the web server in the background. And then start the backfill. Okay. Oh. Server, Airflow server. Okay, so we're adding a bunch of these to queue. So it's printing dates. So it's running tutorial print date command for each of those days. 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So it added them to a queue and now it's executing. Cool. Pretty cool. This is the cool part of programming. You tell the computer to do something and then it just does it for you. Pretty cool. Alright. Let's refresh this admin. See what we got going. Localhost and 0000 are the same thing. Not sure why nothing's popping up here. Alright, let's go back to the tutorial. Wait on those guys. Just do one of them. What's next? That's it. You've written, tested, and backfilled your very first Airflow pipeline. Merging your code into a code repository that has a master scheduler running against it should get it to get triggered and run every day. Here's a few things you might want to do next. Read the concepts page for a detailed explanation of Airflow concepts such as DAGs, tasks, operators, etc. Take an in-depth tour of the UI, click all the things. That's a great idea. Keep reading the docs. Review the how-to guides, which include a guide to writing your own operator. Review the command line interface reference, list of operators. Okay, so I think the next thing I would be doing is the how-to guides. Let's see here. Wait, tutorial. We went through all this. Yeah, so how-to guides, and what do we want to do? So we're making wisdom to tweet, and so we want to trigger like pulling pulling tweets from a specific account. So we're thinking about that when we try and find something similar here. So initializing a database backend, we'll need to do that using operators, customize state colors. Secure connections, writing logs, running Airflow behind a proxy. Okay, so I would probably just, I guess, using operators. Okay, so I guess we would have an operator that calls the Twitter API. That would be an operator. Yeah, so I think next we would go through this bash operator. Okay, anyways, that's all for today. Just a recap, we went through the Airflow tutorial, we got stuck on the .cfg thing, and we're like, okay, I guess we need to figure out how to get that. So we went back to the quick start, we went through this, and it showed us, it created the .cfg once we installed Apache Airflow. And so we got what we needed. We cut the quick start, went back to the tutorial, and just continued through that and to see how to set up a task like this. So that's all for today, guys. Thanks for watching, and look out for the next in this series on making Wisdom to Tweetbot. Alright guys, see ya.